In case you missed it over the weekend, because it really went unreported in national news, because why would the national news, national sports media, mention the potential end of their golden goose? But that's what happened when a Northern California judge ruled against the NCAA in the House versus NCAA case. The court granted all three damages to classes to the plaintiffs. The NCAA is now facing a potential judgment in the multiple of billions of dollars. This comes from Midwinter of Winter Sports Law. And the case is also seeking to eliminate all NIL compensation restrictions. What does this mean, good people? It means that the NCAA could be living on borrowed time, because when you stop, restricting kids from being able to make the amount of money they can make off of NIL deals, you start, holding colleges accountable for the way they treat their athletes or don't treat their athletes. That means that the NCAA is looking at a world where the athletes run the whole thing now, after 100 years of bureaucratic administration from ADs, college presidents, college chancellors, or what have you. And the reason this is important, because HBCUs, as innovative as we were in our beginnings, in our rise to the top, we've fallen off the cliff when it comes to staying abreast of what's going on in the world today, especially in college sports. So my question is, for every AD, every chancellor, every president, every HBCU league commissioner, are you paying attention? Because the NCAA, as we know it, if this case goes all the way through in the way that it's expected to, are you prepared for the end of the NCAA? And if you're not, what are you going to do about it? Because right now we are talking about, yes, we have a world where there are going to be 2 super conferences next year, pretty much playing for 6, I think it's eight spots actually in the FCS playoffs. We're going to have these super conferences that are probably going to take up at least 2/3 of the NCAA men's and women's basketball tournament spots. This is a short-term gold mine for them, but if the legislation and the court dates go through the way they that this recent ruling goes, the NCAA could cease to exist as we know it. And as long as HBCUs have been a part of NCAAs, we've never gotten a fair shake anyway. We mentioned that on a previous episode where the NIL agreement fell through because the SEC didn't want to help black colleges after making money off the backs of black colleges and athletes that would have went to black colleges for the last 50 years. But we knew that was coming. So my challenge is to every AD, my challenge is to every chancellor, every president, every sports committee person at an HBCU, every county, every HBCU commissioner. Pay attention, get together, start planning, because people, unfortunately, and when we have loved ones that are in the end stages of things, you have to start, final planning and everything. You might want to start final planning for the end of the NCAA, because right now they're losing court cases left and right, and they're not going to be able to afford these. What's the word I'm looking for? Shucks. Appeals. Yes, appeals. They're not going to be able to afford all these appeals. They're not going to be able to afford all these lawyers and different things to keep fighting against these judgments. So the NCAA could literally just break off into whatever happens in the next 5 to 10 years, and HBCUs could be, caught, left holding the bag, so to speak. So I want every chancellor, every AD, every commissioner to just say, look, we got to start thinking about ourselves, because the NCAA hasn't been thinking about us for a long time. And when they cease to exist, they definitely won't think about it. So that's just something I wanted to put out there.